Hi, I'm Siara. I was a 2019, 2020, and 2021 Oakland Youth Poet Laureate finalist. And we're going to talk about poetry today.
Yeah.
When did you start writing poetry?
I started writing poetry 6 or 7 years ago. My first poem was it was about injustice. I was sitting on my sister's bed and she gave me a poetry journal. So she told me, "What do you want to write about?" And at first I wrote a poem about my little brother. And several minutes later, we weren't really getting anywhere. So earlier that day, we were watching the news and seeing injustice and just basically racism happening in the world. And so we decided to write a poem about that. And that was the first poem I ever wrote.
What made you keep writing?
What made me keep writing was my sister, Tova Ricardo, was a poet laureate. And I wanted to be like her when I grew up. Or I still want to be like her. And so I just wanted to follow in her footsteps and show that she can do it, I can do it too.
What else do you do? Do you play a sport? Do you like to play video games? Tell us about yourself.
Hmm. Well, I am a musician. I play the oboe that I've been playing for 4 years now. Uh, I really enjoy playing the oboe. Uh,
Love double reed instruments.
hmm?
I love double reed instruments.
Yeah. It is indeed fun, but really depends on the weather, how it works. I also have recently started running track and field, which has
What
been.
events?
I run 200-meter hurdles, 100-meter hurdles, and the 400. And my personal favorite is the 200-meter hurdles and 400-meter. Um, I guess along with that, I recently in track and field have started. Well, I started hurdles 5 months ago now, and I have a meet coming up next week, which is going to be fun and exciting to do.
It's cool. I don't run, I don't play sports. But like I really respect people who do. Like, how do you balance everything in your life?
At first, it was a little bit troubling to balance, but after a while, you just get into the flow of things and make sure to find time for yourself along with everything that's going on. Also, setting out like a coordinated schedule, even if it's just mental or just writing it down, makes it a lot easier.
Um, okay, moving on. Like, how do you think poetry is important for leadership in youth?
Poetry, I would say, when in the aspects of leadership, poetry gives a lot of gray area to what someone can see. I feel like poetry, unlike other art forms, is not bound by restriction of movement, and there's a unity in the way the words and the page is written, in the way that in leadership, in poetry, allows you a lot, as I said, gray area, but it comes with a lot of meaning, and while you may perceive it one way, someone else may perceive it another way, in which they connect to, and it gives windows of opportunity in which even the writer was unaware of, or maybe unaware of.
Yeah, I think this is really true. I love the ambiguity of poetry and how you can say something one way and you can get like an entire audience with different interpretations. Uh, ooh, have you performed before?
I have not performed before, besides the interview at You Speaks.
Are you excited for your
I
first
am.
performance?
I'm very excited. Actually, no, I've performed once before, several years ago. I think it was about 4 years ago. I was 9 years old and I performed a poem at Chapter 510 open mic on a first Friday. But
Cool.
this will be my first time performing in a very long time.
Um, okay, so you play the oboe. So classical music fan, or do you just play classical music? Do you like to listen to it?
I would say I have a very large spectrum of my musical tastes. I both listen and play classical music, along with jazz and many other genres.
Cool. I don't like jazz. I played like the alto saxophone in jazz bands for like 6 years. Not my thing. Classical music is like the superior form of music, honestly. Um, because like, why would you play in a jazz ensemble when you could be in an orchestra?
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Then again, when you're playing classical music, you're always structured to the same notation, same forms, treble
Mm,
clef, 3/4, the whole
yes,
piece. Well, with
but
jazz, you can play a little bit of everything, and you don't have to worry about that.
okay, but like when it's written down, like it's harder to make mistakes because like in jazz, like, hmm, I just hate soloing, honestly. In
Okay,
orchestra,
that's fair. That's fair.
all of my solos are written. In jazz, they're just like, make it up off the top of your head. It'll be fine. And then it's not fine.
Well, I personally enjoy making everything up on the spot, whether it be poems, like making up a song on the spot.
Okay, but like with poems, like, yes, you make it up on the spot, but then you go back and you revise it.
That's fair. That's
You
fair.
can't revise a jazz solo.
Well, say you made up a song on the spot, you can't revise that. Yeah, it might sound very good.
Hmm. Hmm. I just disagree. You're wrong.
Well, think about it this way: if you don't like a jazz solo, you can always switch it up.
Well, yeah, but like, hmm. But you can't go back in time and make it better. Like with a poem, like you can just cross out lines and then you have a better poem.
Sure.
Any last words? Oh, that sounds awful. Any final statements?
Any last words? Hmm. I'm contemplating a lot of last words. Um, I guess just like being a youth, being myself and just liking poetry, it's expanded like my vision a lot. I used to be extremely narrow-sighted, I would say, in the fact that I was very stubborn to convince that I was wrong about something, or that like even if like I was right, my like viewpoint didn't make sense. And poetry's opened like many different doors of opportunity and understanding for people around me, which is very interesting. And through someone's poetry, you get a lot of who they are, a lot more than you get from talking to them.
Yeah,
And also, if you're just talking to somebody, you don't, despite the fact that you have tone of voice and like bodily expression, you still don't get much of what they're trying to say, what they truly mean. But with poetry, through it's the same words, but the presentation of words is absolutely completely different. And also for a lot of for many poets, um, like they'll like get into like the groove of poetry, and you really get to see like their true colors, I would say, for lack of a better term, and you see what they like, what they feel about the world, or also what they think is wrong, which is very fun.